This man never lacks intensity. Joining us now, Coach Sean McVay from the Rams. Coach, first of all, thanks for getting up early. What am I can't see? How many hours have you been up?
You know
already?
he's on his second workout already.
Yeah, where are we today?
Good afternoon to you guys.
The only person that gets up earlier than us, which is amazing. All right, you were brought to us today by Chandler because you guys are what, semi-neighbors?
Oh yeah.
Living next to this animal, like, what is that even like?
I know I can only take him in doses, so this is very rare. You know, this is an off-season thing, and it's because the bye I decided to come on, but anything for my guy. It's fun. We're not the best though with these mommy and me classes. There's a couple dads that aren't as present as we should be, and that's me and this guy.
we really bonded off our 2-year-old son just beating the shit out of each other and sending videos to each other who wins.
That's
hey,
bond.
You can tell his kid just towering mine, just like Chandler does with me in pictures. But my little guy, he's scrappy, man. He's got the leverage on him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love this. This is good. We got to talk a little bit about the game over the weekend. It was a bit of a butt whipping on the Jaguars, but you know what? So much is made about teams traveling overseas and how you get used to it. You guys flew in like 24 hours before the game. Who came up with that way to do it? And B, is that how we all should be handling the body clock situation?
Yeah, I was joking, Michelle. I said we were like a special ops team. We just flew in and out before you even knew we were there. But you know what? I think a lot is made, and these guys know better than I do with the amount of travel that they're used to during the season. But we try not to make it a bigger deal than what it is. We're used to going from the West Coast to the East Coast, where it's a 3-hour time difference. We're kicking off at 10 a.m. in our head. And what we did was we just stayed in Baltimore, and with us kicking off at 2:30 in London, it basically was a 3.5-hour time change. If you're looking at it in a similar lens, we stayed in Baltimore, trained at the Orioles facility, which was awesome. And then our guys just got up and they were ready to roll. And so I think a lot's made of it, but you don't want guys wasting their emotional or mental energy on stuff that they can't control. And I think there's a lot of trust from our sports performance group led by Reggie Scott. And we always try to do what's right by the players. Everything starts with them in mind. I think they know that, and certainly they delivered in a big way. And people will ask, what was the secret to it? And it always goes back to the players.
Yeah, Coach, that was a hell of a game, hell of a decision. One of your star players is Puka, who he's a huge LeBron fan, right? And he loves basketball.
Oh, yeah.
He played in high school. First of all, have you seen him hoop? I know he played in like the celebrity game last year. He held his own. He
can hoop, man.
Yeah.
Him and Devontae are big hoopers. We've got some guys that we're all fans of you guys. You know, I got excited watching Wemby like you guys last night. You know, I've gotten to have some cool relationships with some of these coaches. Shoot, I remember Lou doing his thing at South Gwinnett. I grew up in Atlanta, and he was doing his thing. So there's a lot of mutual respect. But I've seen Puka hoop. I think he thinks he can hang with the real ones. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was tempted to invite Puka to the gym one day. He said he can go get 10 to 12 in the NBA game. I was going to invite him to the gym.
He came on our show last year, and he was like, yeah, I can get 12 or 15 in the NBA game. We were like, stop. Cut it out.
Yeah, you're a cute kid, Puka. You know,
hey, but how much, Coach, how much is it to the, does he really watch the LeBron highlights? Because, he's been said that he watches, like, in the locker room pregame. He's watching this for motivation. He's obviously known to be a big fan. That's real.
That is real. And the real thing, you know what's cool is I use NBA stuff all the time to motivate our team because you can't show guys other NFL players. And so, when you talk about it, I remember my first exposure really appreciating what Wemby and how he's wired when you guys were talking about him. Watch that Court of Gold documentary. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan, huge Steve Kerr fan. And so we're always looking for motivation, and I think there's such a mutual respect that our guys have for the NBA, for that space. Obviously our ownership owns the Nuggets. We've had some interactions with them over the years, and so there's just a lot of appreciation, and Puka is a real NBA connoisseur, and he understands the intricacies of the game. You hear him and Devontae chop it up and talk ball, and there's a lot of love and respect, and they're watching closely, and they can understand it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And NBA players, we have some weird pregame routines as well. And Coach, you don't have to name names, but what's some of the weirder things that you've seen a coach get involved with pregame to get going. Like Rick Carlisle out in Indiana, he tapes his ankles before games, like he's going out there to hoop. That's one that I've seen. What's some of the weird pregame stuff that you've seen?
Here's what I can appreciate. The coach down the street, Jim Harbaugh's a guy I got a ton of respect for. I mean, I think he's got his cleats on pretty consistently. He's banging guys' shoulder pads. He gets all jacked up. So, and then some of the other stuff, Lou, I'd probably get incriminated if I told you about it. So, a little bit off air.
God, I love that kind of weird stuff. How much do you believe on this competition thing separates the good from the great? I know there was a story about the Ravens removing fun, competitive stuff from the locker room. Obviously, they're having a bit of a rough start. Like, where are you on? I know, right? I was like, I feel like you leave it in there if that's the case. But where are you on that? Like, removing things, adding things.
You know what? I think that your leaders, your players, I think it's always about collaboration, Michelle. I think there's got to be a commitment to a philosophy, and I think it's especially revealed in the hard times. What do you want to be about? But I think for us, when we've been at our best, there's an urgency where, hey, we got to get our work done, but there's also an enjoyment. That's when I think, this still is a fun game. And when you watch people that are doing their thing, they're totally, completely present, but they're immersed in the moment and they love it. But there is an urgency that's required to be able to get it done. And there's a mental toughness and a resilience to persevere through the hard times. But I think consistency is the truest measurement of performance. And I think that's especially important to be about when you do go through the challenging times that are inevitable in sports. That's what you love so much about it. But the thing I liked about what I saw from the Ravens deal is I think that was player-led. John Harbaugh is a guy that I got a ton of respect for, what he's done over the years. So I think it's always about collaboration and good, clear communication of where we're headed and where we want to go and how we want to get out of this rut if that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, so if you could add one NBA player from the league to your roster right now with the Rams, who would it be and what position would they play? And by the way, I am a free agent.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, listen, you tell me where you want to line up. We're going to create some problems, folks. So
hey, Coach, I'm ready to be tight end, couple goal line fades. I can do all that. I'm not great with the routes. I'm not the fastest guy, but my hands do work.
Hey, if you're a separator, you know how to be able to lean and press away. That's all we need. Get open, make the catch, man.
I need a week, Coach. I need a week. I'm ready.
You need a bunch of weeks, but
you need a week in a time machine.
Hey, it's hard for me not to be a homer with some of these LA guys, and then obviously my bias towards the Nuggets with the Kroenke affiliation with what Jokic has done, but I think I heard Lou talk about it before I jumped on here. You talk about this positionless player league that we've got and the relevance of that. Well, that's like joker players in the NFL, guys that you can move all over the formation, whether that's guys like a Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. You look at some of these tight ends that can move all over the formation. Kelsey throughout his career. We've got a young guy that I'm excited about continuing to develop. These premier receivers are playing outside and inside now. And so, you look at SGA, you look at Giannis, you look at Luka and Wemby and Jokic and Braun. I just love watching. Steph has been a guy that I've always appreciated. He's changed the way this game is played with analytics and getting those shots up from the perimeter. But, you're not going to get one answer from me. I'm a fan, and I always appreciate seeing the impressive athleticism and the size of the athleticism and the ball handling up close when I get to go to games.
Yeah. Coach, I also heard that you met with the Lakers and have had great talks with their coach, JJ Redick. A lot of similarities there. Obviously, young coaches, extremely good hair from both of you.
Settle down.
You guys are both X's and O's, sickos. Like, how did that relationship start? And, can you kind of tell us about those meetings?
Yeah, I think what's cool about this platform is getting a chance to get to know people like you guys and other coaches, and there's a willingness to share because we're not in the same competitive space. JJ's a guy that he's super smart. He's interested. I think, the best people that I've been around, they want to listen, learn, and then that allows you to be able to lead the best way possible. So I'm always looking to learn from guys, getting with JJ Redick. I'm a T. Lue fan. Got in a relationship with Joe Mazzulla and Steve Kerr and, even Doc Rivers when he was here with the Clippers. But spending some time with JJ this offseason, his capacity for the game is so impressive. There's a lot of things you guys will talk about where I can understand it enough to be dangerous. But then I'm like, man, this capacity is just so beyond. But you can tell there's an ownership. There's a security to be able to let his players have a big input. And I think that's such a big thing in this league with just you know, the amount of time that you guys spend with one another, the amount of games, and the importance of being able to improve and use the games to improve and find your identity as you go.
Yeah, and then obviously earlier this summer, you get the big addition to wide receiver Devontae Adams, and he had some high praise for you, saying you have the same killer mentality that a Kobe, that a MJ had, which is awesome and true. You're already the league's youngest Super Bowl winning coach, 36 years old. How do you personally just continue to find the motivation to keep going and having so much success at a young age?
Honestly, I think it's loving the people that you're doing it with. You know, I think the motivation when your goal is, I don't want to let the people down and I'm motivated. That was what was cool about that Super Bowl journey, like we've talked about, Chandler, is when you're working with people like Aaron Donald, Andrew Whitworth, Matthew Stafford, you know, some of these coaches on our staff, you know, Jalen Ramsey, Odell, Von Miller, you're like, I don't want to let these guys down. It's not about my selfish motivations. It's about, you know, wanting to have these guys have those shared experiences and the relationships that are built in the midst of that journey. And don't get me wrong, we're competitive as hell. I hate losing more than anybody, but I do cherish, and I think I have a better perspective on the relationships that are built in the midst of the journey, how you continue to grow as a man. You know, when I was hired as a 30-year-old, I still, you know, and you're continuing to always grow. There's a lot of growing up and there's a lot of mistakes I've made, but you're always at your best when it's about doing right by others. Without losing that competitiveness, and that's what drives you.
Can you imagine getting a head coaching job at 30?
I couldn't imagine it. No.
I look at our owner all the time. I say, "What the hell were you thinking?" He said, "I don't know."
Well, it worked out. It worked out, and it's still working out. And Coach, after that Super Bowl win, there was a lot of chatter about you potentially putting that clipboard down and doing some TV work. Do you think your competitive nature would truly allow you to step away from coaching?
You know,
do you think that could really happen?
My wife says you would drive me nuts if you were not coaching a team. You know, so I think there's a healthier perspective. I think it was a good way to drive up contract negotiations. That was really
negotiating 101.
Brilliant. That's how it's done.
Right. That's exactly right. So no, I love it. I'm really loving it, and you know, I like this. I feel really fortunate with the group that we have. I think there's more parity in this league than there's ever been. But it is good to be where we're at. And I think we've experienced some tough adversity with some of the games we've lost, and that forces you to learn about people. And I'm looking forward to getting back at it when we start up with the Saints after our bye next week.
I got to ask you about the Sean McVay effect. Like, I don't know if you consider that an honor. Do you roll your eyes a little bit? This idea that, you know, everybody who hires a young coach after you, it's the Sean McVay effect. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's awesome.
I roll my eyes at it, Michelle. What I think's been cool is that because we've been able to have some success, other great coaches that have been instrumental in things that we've done have gotten opportunities that I was afforded at a young age. But you know, I heard Wade Phillips, who was our defensive coordinator when I first got here, he said it and I loved it. You know, he said to his coaches, "You don't work for me, you work with me." And that's how I look at it. I've learned so much. You know, I'm excited to watch Kevin O'Connell come in here. They play the Chargers tonight on Thursday Night Football. But there's a lot of guys that I love that have been instrumental and good things going on with the Rams that have gone on to do their thing. And unless we're playing them, I'm always happy. So it's a cool thing, but it's always about, you know, us collectively, and I do roll my eyes at it. I think it's funny.
It's awesome, but I get it. All right, this is my last question. It's for you and Chandler. I'm going to show something here. I'm a little bit scared, but what's in the water as far as haircuts? What?
That's not it. Coach, that's not you.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? I just would stick a bowl right over my head and just run right around
That
it.
doesn't even look like you.
You have such natural waves there, Coach. I love that.
Yeah, that was the Georgia style. Who pulled that up?
I did not see this before.
Hey, we should be looking at that picture on the left. Let's not focus
No,
on
that's a very punchable dude on the left.
Yeah.
Can we agree?
Jeez, yeah. That's not great. Not a great look for either of us, Coach.
That was a guy that made Billy Donovan's hair gray way too young.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Coach, love it. Love the time. Thank you so much. And good luck the rest of the season.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, hey, appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
a lot.
We'll be right back.
That was great.
That was amazing.
Run it up, run it back.